Let's talk about AI, because it's changing everything about how we work and about our value at work. But what if the biggest threat isn't the AI itself? What if it's actually how you're using it? Stick with me because we're going to break down the one thing that makes some people just about impossible to replace. Right. And this quote really gets to the heart of it. AI is not this rising tide that's going to lift all boats equally. Nope. It's creating what you could call a great AI divide. And what separates the people who thrive from the ones who get left behind, well, it is not what you think. See, on one side of this divide, you've got people who are just passively consuming AI. They're treating it like a glorified, faster Google. Ask a question, copy the answer, paste it, and move on. That is a replaceable skill. But on the other side, there's a much, much smaller group of people who are using it for active collaboration, and that's making them completely invaluable. So to really bring this to life, let's tell a story. Let's look at two people, Maya and Jordan. They both work at the same company, they're both smart, both work really hard, but their careers are about to go in two very, very different directions. So here's the quick version of what happened. About 6 months ago, their company rolled out new AI tools for everyone. Maya jumped right in and started using them to get faster, cranking out emails, summarizing long reports. But Jordan had a totally different strategy from day one. And just 3 months later, Jordan gets promoted, while Maya is still in the exact same role. That gap that opened up between them, that's what this is all about. And this nails the core difference in how they thought about it. Maya was on a treadmill. She was focused on efficiency, just doing her current job, but faster. Jordan, on the other hand, saw a launch pad. She was using AI as leverage to start performing at the level of the job she wanted next. So for her, it was never about speed. It was all about elevation. Okay, so how did Jordan pull that off? How did she get that elevation? Well, her strategy wasn't about becoming an AI expert. It was about mastering the gap, the space where AI's ability ends and where our human value truly begins. And we're going to call that the human judgment gap. You have to remember, AI is an absolute genius at one thing: pattern recognition. It's read more of the internet than we could in 1,000 lifetimes. So yeah, it's incredible at spitting out a first draft of just about anything. But it's like the world's smartest intern. It has zero real-world experience. It can give you an answer, but it has no earthly idea if that answer is actually good or right for your specific, messy, human situation. And let's be totally clear, the productivity gains are real. I mean, studies are showing that using AI can make you up to 40% faster on certain things. That is a huge deal. But it's also a trap if you stop there. And that right there, that's the trap. Just because you're faster doesn't mean you're more valuable. More output doesn't mean you're getting better outcomes. The real value isn't just in creating a thing. It's in knowing if that thing is any good. And that requires judgment. Let's boil this down to its simplest form. AI isn't really coming for complex work, it's coming for repeatable work. If your job is like a predictable conveyor belt, just following a process, it's probably at risk. But if your job is more like a maze, where you have to navigate ambiguity, read the room, make a tough call, that's where AI gets totally stuck. It needs you to lead the way. And this brings us right to Jordan's secret sauce. She understood this judgment gap perfectly, and she built her entire strategy around 3 core, irreplaceable human skills. The first two are taste and context, and we're going to break those down right now. But that third one, that's the one nobody's really talking about yet. And trust me, it's worth waiting for. Okay, first step, taste. And this isn't about being artsy or having good fashion sense. In this case, taste is your ability to evaluate. So, for example, the AI might write a super clever headline for a new campaign, but it doesn't know that your brand almost went bankrupt 2 years ago and that a cocky tone would be completely wrong right now. Jordan knew that. She had the taste to see the huge difference between what was technically correct and what was actually right. Number 2 is context. This is all that messy human stuff that an AI has absolutely zero access to. It's the information that lives in the hallway conversations, in the subtext of meetings, and inside your head. It's the why that lives behind the what. Seriously, just think about all of the crucial information at your job that is never written down. You know what I'm talking about. The quiet tension between 2 teams after last week's meeting, a big client's unspoken pet peeve, the fact that your CEO absolutely hates the phrase circle back. An AI can't see or hear or feel any of this, but all of it completely changes what the right answer is.
Jordan was constantly feeding this hidden context into her work with AI, which made its output smarter because she was smarter.
Okay, if you remember one thing, remember this analogy. AI is like your car's GPS. It is an absolutely incredible tool. But the best drivers, right? The expert cabbie who's been driving the city for 30 years, they know when to ignore the GPS. They have the local context to know, hey, a parade just sent it downtown, so that route the GPS is suggesting is a terrible idea. The AI just amplifies the judgment of whoever is holding the steering wheel.
Which brings us to that final piece of the puzzle. We've got taste, we have context, but what is that third element, the one that makes someone truly, truly irreplaceable?
Accountability. That's it. It's the one thing a machine can never, ever have. Think about it for a second. An AI can produce a report, an analysis, a recommendation, but it can't walk into a boardroom, look the CEO in the eye, and say, I've reviewed all the risks, and this is the call I'm making, I stand by it. That willingness to own a decision, to actually stake your reputation on your judgment, that is an entirely human act. And in a world where it feels like everyone is trying to outsource their thinking, that becomes incredibly rare and incredibly valuable.
Okay, so let's tie this all together into a playbook you can actually use. This is all about changing your relationship with AI. You need to stop treating it like a ghostwriter and start treating it like a sparring partner. And you know what? Eventually, Maya figured this out too. She stopped going to AI and asking, give me the answer. Instead, she started showing up with her own answer, her own idea, and she'd ask the AI to attack it. Pressure test this for me. What are the flaws in my logic? Give me the strongest possible counterargument. What am I not seeing here? And this changed everything for her. Her managers started to notice, not because she was using some cool new tool, but because her judgment, her own thinking, was becoming undeniable. She wasn't a pass-through for AI outputs anymore. She was becoming a source of real, valuable insight. So in the end, it really comes down to these three things: taste, context, and accountability. This is the toolkit of the irreplaceable professional in the age of AI. These are the skills that can't be automated. They come from paying attention, from actually caring about the outcome, and from having the courage to show up with a point of view.
And that brings us to the final question, the one I want to leave you with. In your job, right now, today, which of these three are you strongest in? Is it taste, context, accountability? Because the people who can bring all three to the table, they're the ones AI doesn't threaten. They are the ones AI makes powerful.